Friends and comrades, this is it.
The Nazis stole our secrets. They used them to win the war. Everything they have accomplished was built upon our knowledge.
Hello everybody, welcome to our video review for Wolfenstein: The New Order. I'm Ryan Teljanik and I've finished the game.
And I'm Hollander Cooper and I haven't, so I have some questions for you about it.
Right on.
So looking at trailers and stuff, it looks like it takes place in the 60s and there are giant robots. How does that fit in with the Wolfenstein universe? What's going on in this game?
Yeah, so, well, of course you play as returning protagonist BJ Blazkowicz.
Yes.
Which is how they pronounce his last name in the game, so that's how I pronounced it.
Let's just call him BJ from now on.
Yeah, BJ. So yes, it does take place in the 1960s. This is an alternate history in which the Nazis won World War II, and BJ woke up from a coma. And so now he's in the 60s, and he meets up with like a resistance group, and the goal of the game is to overthrow the Nazi overlords.
Good.
It's super fun. Lots of super soldiers and mechs and robots, dogs. See, the Nazis won because they gained access to all this super advanced technology, which literally just means like mechs that have laser cannons and dogs that are enhanced with cybernetic technology.
Good.
So lots of really cool stuff going on. Well, the New Order makes no pretense about what kind of shooter it is. You're dual-wielding shotguns, assault rifles, laser cannons, blowing stuff up.
And how is that gunplay? Is it good?
Oh man, it's really, really fun. Yeah, this is like a super old-school style shooter with a lot of modern trappings. So, you're gonna pick up health packs and armor packs, and you'll get all kinds of neat little weapon upgrades as you play. And shooting all those weapons is very, very fun. They all feel very satisfying.
Lots of gore?
Plenty of gore. It's really goofy too, because like it's a bit over the top in a good way. Like, you'll shoot some Nazis and they'll like blow up or lose their heads will explode or their arms will spurt fountains of blood. It's super.
That's what they get for being Nazis. Is the level design as good of a merger of old and new?
Oh yeah. What I really, really liked about it is that almost all the levels give you plenty of room to breathe, right? You're not just running through super cramped corridors holding the right trigger.
This isn't like a Call of Duty set piece to set piece deal.
It's they're more like open-ended arenas and populated with all sorts of like ammo and health and armor and all that stuff. And they almost always have like mounted turrets that you can use or rip off and shoot. Like the gunplay is super goofy and the levels definitely support it. And I also really like that there's a lot of like ventilation systems or side corridors that you can go through to kind of you can sort of develop a little bit of a strategy going into an arena, so you're not just like going in blind. But I also like that there's like a stealth system where you can sneak up on guards. You can throw knives at them or just straight up stab them from the back and instant kill them. And I also like that the game has a really cool perk system where
cool.
You get like passive upgrades to the amount of ammo you can carry or the amount of damage certain guns do.
Is it like experience based to get them or anything?
No, not at all. It's basically just like a series of objectives, like get 5 silent or stealth throwing knife kills, and you can now carry an extra throwing knife, like that sort of thing.
So almost like mini achievements.
Yeah, and it does a really good job of like enticing you to reach out and try all these different kinds of things. Like, I probably wouldn't have thought to do a sprint sliding kill. I mean, it's a really cool thing to do, but I probably wouldn't have thought to do it had I not saw the perk to, I could get more damage if I perform a certain number of kills doing this. So it does a really good job of kind of making you want to branch out and try all sorts of different things.
All right, going into the story, though, how is the story and how are the characters? Wolfenstein has never really, some of the games have, but to me, it's not like a super story-driven game, but this one looks like it is.
Right, so, as we mentioned in the story, obviously this alternate history isn't exactly a happy place.
Unless you're a Nazi.
Yeah, unless you're a Nazi, then it's perfect.
Springtime for you.
But it does a good enough job of setting up this really bleak place that's depressing and everyone's in fear for their lives and that sort of thing. So it does a good job of giving you plenty of incentive to go on these Nazi killing sprees. But one thing I actually really, really liked about this game was that Blazkowicz or BJ has a lot of internal monologues and they're like really melodramatic, where he's just like, it was summer of 1946 and I did this thing, and it's just like he delivers these lines with like
my melancholy.
Just the right amount of drama to like make them really interesting. And so I really enjoyed those because like they do give him some personality, and you get the sense that he's just like this exhausted soldier by the end. He's just like, I've seen it all. This is a fucked up place. I killed hundreds of thousands of Nazis and by myself, and it's just like it really comes through in those speeches. But I think it's also funny because then the game will go over the top with like a cutscene will kick in, and all of a sudden this like really cool rock music will kick in the background, and it does a good job of really pumping you up for the next mission.
And are the other characters as well developed as BJ?
Some of them are really interesting. So you'll meet other members of the Resistance once you join up with them. Caroline in particular is a character who is like confined to a wheelchair because she had some run-ins with the Nazis before too, and there's other characters like that are really fun, and you're like, yeah, those are cool. Like you kind of have this group of characters that you really come to enjoy. And some of them though are really just like whatever, you don't ever really interact with them, and then when certain points in the story there's dramatic things that happen with them and you're just kind of like whatever, like I never really even knew who that person was. And so when they're doing important things, it's kind of just whatever.
Right. So besides the occasional lack of character development, did anything else turn you off on the game?
Just a couple things. One of the things that got really frustrating was like there are a lot of types of enemies, which is really cool, but sometimes they throw too many of the really powerful bullet sponge types at you at once, which makes it really frustrating because you'll like, especially in some of the boss fights, I died like, 6 or 8 times in a row. It's just like, oh, come on. And the same kind of holds true when you're fighting like 3 minigun wielding mech soldiers at once. That gets a little obnoxious. Sometimes some of your weapons by the end of the game run on battery power instead of ammunition, and you have to recharge them. And actually this gets in the way of the action when you're like, oh, I have to quickly find a recharge station, and to recharge all like 3 of your battery weapons takes like a solid minute, like just stand there charging. So that gets really in the way of the action. And then there are a couple missions that are meant to be like, I think they're meant to slow the pace of the action and kind of give you some room to breathe, but they're really just mundane. It's like, please go fetch that arc welder that fell into the bottom of the sewer, and so you jump down into a sewer and fight some robots, and it's just kind of like, But for the most part, Wolfenstein: The New Order, super fun game that has it's a very gratuitous shooter that isn't really something we see much of anymore.
Any tacked on multiplayer?
Oh no, nothing at all. It's just pure 100% single player, and it's all really fun through the entire way.
Awesome. So what'd you end up scoring it?
I ended up giving the game a 4 out of 5. If you want to check out the written review, be sure to stop by GamesRadar.com. And if you like the video review, please subscribe to our channel, and we'll check you out next time.